You're watching the show that puts Mid-Michigan news in focus. This is Focal Point.
Tonight on Focal Point, I'll be telling you why the streets of East Lansing may soon be getting a little busier.
Coming up on Focal Point, we'll feature the corner of Albert and MAC, which, much like the city, is getting a lot bigger. We'll tell you how one MSU alum gathered national support for charity in the midst of rivalry. Focal Point starts now.
Good evening, I'm Alex Barhorst.
And I'm Greg Monahan. Welcome to Focal Point. The streets of Michigan State University will soon be more packed because the university is poised to break enrollment records next year.
What do students think about this? And what is the university going to do to avoid overcrowding? The answers are not that simple.
In the next academic year, enrollment at Michigan State will be higher than ever.
I don't agree with it.
And not everyone
It was very stressful.
is happy about it.
That could be avoided in that MSU could have not let so many people in.
MSU doesn't have enough space for the number of students they admit, so the school puts 3 people in rooms meant for 2. It's called transitional housing, and housing continues to be,
You know, this is a little bit like changing the tires on a bus while we're driving down the road.
a work in progress.
We don't have the ability to shut the university down, take care of all the updates, and then open it back up again. So, you know, we're continuing to work within our residence hall systems in terms of updating cafeterias and updating rooms while we're in session.
Alan said the biggest problem for him with the lack of space was he didn't have enough room for all of his musical instruments. He didn't think the cost deduction associated with transitional housing was worth living in such a cramped atmosphere. While some students are feeling squeezed in, others are happy.
Some of my friends are willing to come in US and to study.
More people have the chance to make it here.
If they can pay all the tuition, like high tuition here, I definitely want to recommend them to come here and study.
Cotter called the incoming class one of the most geographically diverse.
And there's some shifting going on. Clearly, the international phenomenon that began about 5 years ago has continued.
For both better and worse, the students are coming.
Though the 49,300 students make the largest class ever at MSU, Cotter said increasing admittance will not be the school's plan moving forward. And specifically in the College of Engineering, enrollment reached an all-time high this fall, with close to 1,300 incoming freshmen, totaling 4,200 undergraduates in the program. That's 100 more students than the fall of 2012, and the program has doubled in size since 2006.
And with all this growth comes more local business development. Students moved back to campus this fall to find not only several new places to eat and drink, but some real cosmetic changes happening in downtown East Lansing. In East Lansing, a few new restaurants are cooking up something good for the city.
It's been wonderful, honestly. We've been received really, really well by the town.
That's Sam Short, president of Barfly Adventures, the company that owns Hopcat, which just opened in August and features 100 beers on tap.
At any one time in here, we keep between 300 and probably 350 kegs in here.
Hopcat isn't alone. Next door is the new sports bar Pepino's with 3 bars, 4 dining rooms, and 65 HD TVs.
These guys have a really good reputation in Grand Rapids.
Pepino's GM Dan Tyler explains popularity on the west side of the state has helped the business early on.
Via Facebook and Twitter, it's worked really well. If you do a good job, word of mouth is a great tool.
Firehouse Subs is the 3rd new eatery in town. Even with the new shops right next to each other, they're not necessarily
You
competing.
can just come down to downtown East Lansing, enjoy yourself, grab a bite somewhere, have a drink at our place, have a drink at another place.
Now, I'm on the corner of Albert and MAC, but if I were standing here just a few months ago, the entire area would have been almost unrecognizable. No Firehouse Subs here over to my left, and down the street, no Hopcat or Pepino's. This growth has taken some who haven't seen East Lansing recently by surprise.
And the development around here, I had no idea it had gotten this big. The place has changed so radically. But it looks like fun, and when you got 100 beers to choose from.
Now, this corner may not look like it once did, but it's helped bring a crowd, and not just of students, back near campus. The restaurants say business has been good since the start of the fall semester and the beginning of the football season.
Well, a Michigan State student already received a dose of scholarship money, and she may soon be earning much more. Special education major Julia Ruggiero is one of 40 finalists for the AbbVie Scholarship for Cystic Fibrosis patients, a disease she's been suffering with her entire life. Each finalist is awarded $2,500 and the winner gets an extra $18,500. Cystic fibrosis is a disorder that causes mucus to build up in the lungs and cause lung infections. Every day, Ruggiero takes handfuls of medications and wears a vibrating vest to keep her lungs healthy. Despite a life expectancy of 37, she says she maintains a positive attitude and is determined to beat the odds.
I wasn't raised to be negative. I wasn't raised to feel bad for me, poor me. And I kind of took that and I gave it a spin, and I realized that I wasn't going to let somebody tell me when my time was up, and I was going to live until I was 93. With the best.
Ruggiero says she plans to use the scholarship money to pay back student loans. Her goal is to encourage special needs students to also pursue their goals from a unique path.
The head of the MSU Alumni Association spins a cheap shot from the University of Michigan into a powerful fundraiser. Controversy swirled in East Lansing when the University of Michigan's athletic department paid for the words "Go Blue" to be written in the sky above Spartan Stadium. The stunt inspired MSU Alumni Association Director Scott Westerman to take action. Westerman has piloted planes in the past and thought the estimated $3,000 cost for a skywriter could have been better spent elsewhere. Rather than retaliate, he challenged MSU alums to match the amount and donate it to ovarian cancer research. The response was overwhelming.
I think it's a demonstration of the power of the Spartan nation to do good. You know, we say we are leaders, lifesavers, and world changers. We demonstrated this week that we can be.
Westerman's wife is a two-time ovarian cancer survivor. They raised more than $40,000 with the help of nearly 2,000 MSU alums.
Well, coming up next, we'll take you to Munn Field, where MSU students camped out in preparation for the basketball season.
And we'll join the marching band, who is celebrating the 25th year that their director has been in charge.
There are moments of triumph, of discovery, and achievement. But what makes these moments possible? It's the early mornings, the late nights. It's having the will to persevere. So let's take a moment to celebrate. But more importantly, let's salute the will it takes to get there. Spartans will.
When I was green, green-eyed on the hill, where flowers grew and the sun shone still. Now I'm dark-eyed in the deepest sea. Just hand me down, give me a place to be.
Well, a lot's been happening on campus since the fall semester started. Izzo Campout, homecoming superheroes, and a big anniversary for the Spartan Marching Band director. Greg Monahan joins us now with our campus report. Greg?
Thank you, Alex. Well, a time-honored tradition almost didn't happen this year due to poor attendance from Michigan State's men's basketball student section last year. This year, more than 3,000 ISON members and 1,000 tents gathered on Munn Field to camp out and try to secure their seats in the lower bowl. All night long, ISON members listened to live music, threw around footballs and frisbees, and got a chance to hear coach and the players speak. Afterward, many took the opportunity to meet and take pictures with both Izzo and the players. University officials say this year's campout broke all previous campout records.
We have 8 of us in one big tent. We've just been playing football all day and just chilling, just waiting for this to be over, but it's too much fun.
This crowd is bigger than any crowd that ever, some of your parents went here, right? They can't touch what you're doing here tonight.
And we'll have more on the start of the basketball season coming up in sports. If the marching band looked a bit older than normal during a recent halftime show, it's because the MSU Alumni Band took the field for their yearly reunion. After rehearsing in the morning, the band marched over to the stadium to relive one of their favorite traditions. The alums then took the fields at halftime, playing tunes from the best of Broadway. The regular Spartan marching band joined in for the finale, and that featured nearly 500 musicians on the field. After the game, the alumni band presented band director John T. Madden with several gifts, honoring him for his 25th season as director of the Spartan Marching Band, including a piece of stained glass handmade by the father of 2 current marching band members. Madden says it's hard to believe it's already been 25 years.
And it snuck up on me. It doesn't feel like that. I don't feel like an old guy who's been slugging through it. There's seriously a total new sort of energized creative process that comes with teaching the band every year. So I'm not, out of things to do. There are always challenges.
You can catch Madden and the band homecoming weekend, starting with the parade on October 11th. The Michigan Flyer bus service known as Air Ride is expanding with more daily rides from East Lansing to Ann Arbor, and a more convenient schedule from Ann Arbor to Detroit Metro Airport. The expansion is an increase from 8 to 12 trips daily with nearly hourly service between early mornings and late evenings. Michigan Flyer officials say it's a win-win for travelers who want reliable transportation across the state. The new schedule begins on November 15th, and full details can be found on their website at michiganflyer.com. Next week is Homecoming Week, and this year's theme is all about being a Spartan superhero, with the Grand Marshal being a leader in the comic book industry. Class of 1995 alum Jeff Johns is the Chief Creative Officer of DC Entertainment and will ride in the parade as well as give talks to students on campus. Designer Dave Jordan created the Sparty superhero and his 4 sidekicks.
Whether it was athletics, whether it was research and academics, whether it was history, where we came from as a university, our agricultural roots, and to say, okay, how can we embody those things into superhero characters? Athletics, whether...
The annual homecoming parade will begin at 6 p.m. on October 12th, while the homecoming football game starts at noon the following day. Over the summer, part of the Communications Arts and Sciences building got a brand new look. The avenue opened on the west side of the building, featured modern furniture, computers, big screen TVs, and an Xbox 360 equipped with Kinect. The college hopes that students will use the new collaborative space to hold meetings, get some work done, or just relax between classes. The lounge renovations were made possible by various donors, including Microsoft and alumnus Craig Murray, the founder and CEO of one of the largest creative agencies and production companies in the entertainment industry.
For some extra reading or homework or just being prepared before class, it's a good room to have.
Dean Pam Witten calls the new space meaningful and productive on her blog. And that's what's happening on campus. I'm Greg Monahan. Alex?
Thanks, Greg. Well, the Spartans are about to open up their Big Ten season, and Tom Izzo's boys hit the court for their official first basketball practice. I'll have those stories and more in sports after the break.
They've been called leaders, lifesavers, and world changers. They're also called Spartans.
Welcome back. I'm Alex Barhorst with this week's Sports Report. Now, the MSU football team travels to Iowa this weekend to take on the Hawkeyes in the opening of the Big Ten season. The Spartans started their season with 3 home games and a 3-0 record with wins against Western Michigan, South Florida, and Youngstown State before hitting the road to South Bend. They came up just short of beating Notre Dame, losing 17-13. MSU's offense has struggled so far, and it's still up in the air who will emerge as the dominant quarterback. After a bye week, Coach Mark D'Antonio says he's excited to start conference play, but knows Iowa will be a challenge.
When you look at Iowa, I think first of all you look at who they are as a coaching staff and a program. Right now, I think they've always been a very strong program, a program that's been built on toughness, been built on a scheme, a concept, and they continue to work those concepts, and they're very, very good at them.
It's not often a football game is subject to weather delays, but that wasn't the case for MSU at the beginning of this year. The Spartans' football season got off to a peculiar start when lightning really did strike twice, delaying each of the first two home football games of the 2013 season. While the first home game was interrupted in the middle of the second quarter, the second game against South Florida didn't even have a chance to begin before officials decided it was unsafe to play. Fans who were already inside the stadium were forced to evacuate, and many on their way in were turned back at the gates. But some fans were able to make the best of it.
It's like an experience, and I think in a couple years when we're not going to every game, we're going to look back on it and say, like, remember when the first two games we ever went to were rained out? Yeah. So I think it's just a memory.
Well, the Spartans were able to get through their next two home games without the threat of lightning, and we'll keep our fingers crossed for the rest of the season. Orange Barrel season might be over in the roads of Michigan, but at Spartan Stadium, construction is just getting started. The north side of Spartan Stadium does not look like it has in years past, and it will stay that way for a while. Stadium construction began in August and will continue throughout the season. The $24.5 million project will feature a new recruitment center, media center, locker rooms, and a number of other additions. Fans will also see improvements made to the concourse with more space and accessible bathrooms. The entire project was funded through donations and contributions by MSU Athletics. It is scheduled for completion by the beginning of the 2014 season. Now, the construction is a mild inconvenience to fans now, but the athletic department says it will all be worth it when the job is finished. From football to basketball now, the MSU men's basketball team held their first practice of the year this past week. Thousands of his own student section members gathered in the Breslin Center to cheer on their Spartans, and even a few heard words from head coach Tom Izzo. Izzo made a clear point to let students know that they are just as much a part of the family as the players themselves. Mini scrimmages and drills eventually led to a final dunk show, getting players and students excited for the season.
It is a different experience. I mean, this is strange. We're starting 21 days earlier than we did last year. I think there's pluses to it. I was a fan of it because I think it gives us a chance that we don't have to get our players going and just kill them the first week or two. I think it's going to be a plus in the long run. I am a little concerned because starting now, no matter how many days you take off, there's still the mental grind.
Well, if you missed the first practice, there's still opportunity to see the players in action at the annual Midnight Madness event on October 18th at the Breslin Center. Meanwhile, the MSU hockey team looks for a fresh start this season with veteran defenders and promising freshmen. Coming off injuries and a losing record, head coach Tom Anastas says he has high hopes for a successful season ahead.
Guys who know what the expectations are. We have guys that have college experience now, where last year we didn't have that.
Miss scoring a lot, but I think this year I need to transition a little more on the D side.
I'm just here to help this team to get better with this. If a team do well, the person yourself is going to be good too.
Well, the Spartans kick off their season against Western Ontario on October 9th. 5 former Michigan State athletes were all inducted into the Athletics Hall of Fame this month. The 2013 Hall of Fame class includes Henry Bola for football, Ryan and Kip Miller for hockey, Morris Peterson for basketball, and Jenna Roble for volleyball. Though their sports may be different, these alums have one thing in common: the desire to leave a legacy on the banks of the Red Cedar.
I've done everything that I can possibly do. I just hope I did everything right. And I hope that I leave a good image for my grandchildren.
we sacrificed for the betterment of the team and where we wanted to go. And I think as a result, I'm sitting right here with my team. I got in the Hall of Fame.
To be solidified in your university for things that you did at the time is pretty amazing.
For me, it was all about winning games. You know, I wanted to be the best Spartan team I could be.
You can visit the MSU Athletics Hall of Fame located in the Clara Bell Smith Student Athletes Center on campus. And that's what's happening in sports. I'm Alex Barhorst.
The Michigan State University Community Music School showcased a variety of educational programs at its latest open house. For 20 years, community music school teachers have owned the musical talents of local students. Instruction for violins, pianos, horns, and more instruments are all available at the school. It also offers unique music therapy classes for students with special needs. The programs teach fine motor skills through the art of playing an instrument, and staff members said that the interaction with the local community is one of the biggest benefits of being involved with the school.
Never picked up an instrument in their life or are looking to get back into it. We serve all members of the community, and it's a wonderful way to connect with community through something that you love, being music.
The school celebrated its 20th anniversary on September 26th with a silent auction and a movie premiere.
Well, that's our show for tonight. We'll leave you now with more sounds from the MSU Alumni Band.
Have a great night, everybody.